They're baby Doritos.
And we are live! Yay!
Hello.
The last one of the year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They should just like, no.
Don't remind me. I'm not ready for Christmas next week. I mean, the week
No.
after. Whatever.
I was about to say.
9 days, isn't it, till Christmas?
Like no one's counting.
It's only because like yesterday was 10 and like somebody was like, I think it was on the radio, it was like 10 days till Christmas. And I'm like, oh, wow, that feels really quick. Just...
Yeah.
But yes, welcome to our discussion of the first half of House of Sky and Breath, book number 2 in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves, even though people pretty much kind of know who you are?
The name is here, there, wherever.
I'm, yarn reader on everything, so.
Same.
And yeah, after this live, I'll put your channel links and all that stuff.
And then we have the Harry.
Harry, at Harry.
There you go.
Enjoying the rainy days.
Harry's furry kitty books. There we go. That's his username.
Yeah, sure.
Making a Twitter is just like at Harry the cat or at Harry the bookish cat.
We actually did the math again just a few days ago. Instead of him being 18, he's actually 15. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
big
and he just yawned. He's an old man, Harry.
Yeah, Jordan put a sheet right here on top of these boxes for him to be comfy in the window. Yep, I disturbed him.
Gosh, Mom.
It's like, oh, you petted
activated the kitty.
You petted my butt.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Oh. We lost a Katie.
Can I help you? You know you're not supposed to be on the desk, sir. Get your butt off of this.
Oops.
Where did you go?
There's a button on this mouse that like is like a back button. And like I tapped it. I was meant to click on the comment saying like Harry, and I went no.
Oh my gosh.
Reverse. Shall I do my monthly dramatic reading of the synopsis?
Yep.
So before I do read it, though, obviously because it is a sequel, this discussion will contain spoilers from, like, obviously, you know, from the first book that could go into it as well, as it's a continuation. So bear that in mind. If you haven't read the first book, don't watch this live. The deadliest power. The fiercest passion, and the cruelest fate. Bryce, Quinlan, and Hunt Athalar have made a pact. As they process the events of the spring, they will keep things platonic until the solstice. But can they resist when the crackling tension between them is enough to set the whole of the Crescent City aflame? And they are not out of danger yet. Dragged into a rebel movement they want no part of. Bryce, Hunt, and their friends find themselves pitted against the terrifying Asteri, whose notice they must avoid at all costs. But as they learn more about the rebel cause, they face a choice. Stay silent while others are oppressed, or fight. And they've never been good at staying silent. Is that like the synopsis you have for your American copies?
I honestly don't know because my desk track is in the living room. So, no, not in the living room. It's in the bedroom.
Is the why I hop back, but no.
I can look it up real quick. Because I too do not have my dust jacket.
But Lucinda said, I didn't do a reread, so this will be interesting. Let's see. It's like a memory test, isn't it?
I was
like,
already planning on
that happened. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh.
Yeah, I was already planning on kind of rereading this before reading the third book when it comes out the end of next month. So this is just helping me. And my reading has slowed down a lot this month. So I'm just kind of, even though I flew through the first like 200 pages, it seemed like really quickly. Now I'm kind of like slowing down.
According to Barnes & Noble's website, their synopsis, it says, Bryce Quinlan and Hunt Atlar are trying to get back to normal. They may have saved Crescent City, but with so much upheaval in their lives lately, they mostly want a chance to relax, slow down, and figure out what the future holds. The Asteri have kept their word so far, leaving Bryce and Hunt alone. But with the rebels chipping away at the Asteri's power, the threat the rulers pose is growing. As Bryce, Hunt, and their friends get to pull into the rebels' plans, the choice becomes clear. Stay silent while others are oppressed, or fight for what's right. And they've never been very good at staying silent.
So, some similar things from that synopsis.
Yeah.
Like,
Sarah, I'm going to need you to sit. It's just like walking back and forth on my lap. I'm going to need you to sit.
Sit down.
Sit, boo-boo, sit.
Sit down. You're rocking the Sam.
I don't remember much of Crescent City 1, besides the fact that there was like a murder and they were trying to figure out who done it. This one is definitely not that.
Lucinda says, I have 4 versions of it now.
Jeez. I only have the one.
I have 2.
I can't believe Katie is reading this without reading ACOTAR. I've read ACOTAR before, though.
I have not.
Oh, yeah, Alicia's the one.
But I look at it this way, like they're gonna be their own series in a sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about if there's any like crossover or anything, because if I had read ACOTAR first or read this one, I don't think it's really gonna matter, you know?
No, and like, I mean, I've read ACOTAR and I can't really, you know what I mean, like, see, like, you can read it as its own series, so.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that. There's probably like a very, very minute Easter egg of something if it was to ever reread after. Yeah. But yeah, this series was written after that, so yeah.
I've read ACOTAR. I just haven't finished reading Throne of Glass. I think I got up to like book 4 of Throne of Glass. I can't exactly remember. It's like when I first started reading, like I started with Crescent City 1. Like of her books, and then I just kind of like binged a lot of the books and then kind of burnt out a little bit, so I stopped in the middle of Throne of Glass.
That's one thing I don't want to do. I haven't read Throne of Glass or the other one, the Court of Thorns and Roses.
I'll eventually pick it back up. I just don't know when.
She's written many books now.
This is very true.
What format did you guys read it in?
Just physical.
I had physical and audiobook.
Yeah, same, physical and audio.
And I set mine at 2.3 times speed.
Yeah, I think I was 2.10. I was like, oh, which is
I probably would have made it to 400 if I did that.
Yeah, I just did 2.10.
It's a lot to take in.
Throne of Glass, I think, is more Easter eggy for it.
Duly noted.
I can definitely like what I have read of up to like Throne of Glass and of ACOTAR. I can see the Easter eggs in this series. And just like from what I know of it, with my like this being my first read through, I did add a lot more tabs when it comes to foreshadowing bits. So
Excuse me.
I read Avatar, then Crescent City, and then Throne of Glass. I've only read books 1 and 2 of Throne of Glass.
I have read 0.
Yeah. Books 1 and 2 of Throne of Glass and 1 and 2 of Akatar.
I think this is the first series I've read of hers. Like, I haven't read anything else. I have books 1 of the other 2, but I haven't read them.
I mean, this is like definitely like I can tell with the book and like, you know, with all the swear words and all of that, you know, this is her adult series, like with all the language and, you know, like,
and the spicy scenes too.
Well, yeah, exactly, and like just the word of like, you know, cock, you know. Like, you know,
she is
that's
not shying away by any means.
No, I just remember that at the beginning of one of the chapters. It's like, whoa.
The first scene that I got to, Alan was listening to music, so I had put my headphones on and I plugged them in. I did not have them plugged in all the way.
Oh my god.
So he just kind of did one of those numbers where like you're looking at the screen because you're like seeing where it is on the audiobook, and I'm trying to read, so I'm looking down, and then he just kind of goes like this so he could get my attention. And he was like, I don't think your headphones are in all the way. And I was like, oh. Thankfully the children were asleep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thank God they didn't run in.
It's like, Mom, what are you doing?
I've never had that happen before, but I was just like, oh.
and now you'll be double checking. Like, I'm
gonna stop reading for now. It was like, horrible. No. But yeah, those are some spicy scenes.
So out of what you've read of the half, like, would you rate it kind of out of 5, or I don't know, like, would you say like it's heading towards the 5-star, or
I don't remember what I rated the first one, but this one I seem to be more inclined to read this one. This one is a lot better paced and more than the first one, because the first one I think it took me a bit to read it, but this one I want to keep going, and it's happening very quickly. So I think this one's leaning towards a 5.
I felt like it was more like info dumpy about just like what's going on in the world, definitely like preparing for future stuff. So it's not, I didn't feel it as compelling my first read through. I think I ended up giving like my first read through the entire like book like maybe 4.5 stars. I think it's still kind of solid. I'm like not completely wowed about it. It's like how I normally would give my 5 stars, is like I'm completely sucked into it, but it's definitely a lot like really readable.
Yeah. Like it seems quite easy to read this one. I mean, yeah, I probably would say like 4.5 for the minute. Like there's like some really good bits that kind of like, well, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I have questions,
but then it would like kind of slow down again. Yeah, what's your question?
No, I'm saying like I have questions and like where's it going?
Oh, I thought you said like you have a question. What is it? What's your question?
When I have questions, it's because I want to keep reading, and I hope that my questions are answered by the time I reach the end of the book. Because if it isn't, then God damn it, I need the next one. Which I think the next one's coming out in January.
Yeah, literally
January 30th. I am impatiently waiting for my pre-order.
I know.
It's the only book that I have pre-ordered. I had pre-ordered this one, and I pre-ordered the third one. It's the only book I've ever pre-ordered.
I'm trying to think which books I've pre-ordered next year. I think Libra, do you guys got a book I want to say?
I don't pre-order that much.
I don't often.
Because I hate how like you used to do pre-orders and then you would have it on the day that it was released, and now it
Yeah.
takes a week.
Yeah.
I could just
Like,
go to the store and buy it.
I would just do like that with Heartstopper Volume 5, like Waterstones. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we'll deliver it, but like the day after release. And I'm just like, but I want it. Like, otherwise I could have just gone to the store.
Right.
No, I tried to do it just for like special editions or signed special editions that are like limited.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only times I'll pre-order. Unless it's like one I really, really want. But
Lucinda says there are a lot of
yeah.
answers.
Yeah. There's
Well,
lots of
hopefully
questions
they
and lots
answer
of
my
answers.
questions.
Yeah, or like maybe it's an answer to a new question that you have. So you have 50 questions and only 20 answers or something.
Oh my gosh. I'd be so mad.
I've done a bit more now, but I didn't get Bring Me Your Midnight when I did with Amazon. So no more Amazon pre-orders. I've only done Waterstones. Yeah, I don't trust Amazon. They like a few years ago, just pre-orders just don't. Even if you've got Prime, they just don't come the day of.
I feel like with myself, anyways, I probably wouldn't start the book right away either way. So my pre order is with Amazon, and it's mostly because it was cheaper. So I think it was like less than $20 to get it off of Amazon, surprisingly.
Yeah, the
So
bookstores tend to have it like
I'm mooching off my mother's Prime just to be able to get a better deal. Thanks, Mom.
Shout out to Sam's mom. Thanks.
Yeah. I still don't know yet. I probably will just get the third one from just from Waterstones.
Yeah, I'll probably just go to the store and get it when the third one comes out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go Russian.
It's not like I don't have tons of things I need to read.
It's useful for bumping up the order amount for free delivery. Then you can just cancel them. I did get Iron Flame when I ordered with them though, but I have not read either. I've still yet to read the first book.
Same.
I don't think I'm going to get to Fourth Wing anytime soon.
No, I wanted to, and I still see it everywhere, and I'm like, I really want to, but I just don't think I will. So character-wise, do you have a favorite character so far?
Still going with Bryce and Hunt. I think they're both of them are still pretty much my favorites.
Yeah, they seem to have grown into their roles, and even though Bryce has now been, what's it called, Starborn or Starfey or whatever the hell it's called.
Hold on, let me find with my 1 billion tabs. I did tab something that I
want to say rings a bell.
Yeah,
I snickered at one of them. So
now that she's stepping into that role, and they're both kind of taking things a bit more, I guess you could say, grown up, then they're still both my favorites. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot sweeter in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it helps. They had that agreement at the beginning where they're like, "Oh, we won't do anything until the winter solstice." So it's like the wanting to be together, burning passion
that's going to create a lot of tension.
I actually quite like the character Sophie, the one that's like part Thunderbird.
Oh, Sophie, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know more about them, like her and her brother, because they haven't really said anything too much about them until now, which I get because it's kind of this book is about them, but
yeah,
I would like to know more about them in general. which I imagine we'll get to know, but that's one of my questions.
Just one of the questions.
Yeah, I can't find like one of my mini tabs of it, but it's like sometimes like her new like term that her and like Hunt came up with is like magical like star princess or something like that. It was something that just made me snort. So the way that I could hear the sarcasm in my voice.
Lucinda says Rune is her book boyfriend material.
I'm not sure how I feel about Rune.
Yeah, I haven't quite got an opinion of him yet.
Oh, found it. She's like, I'm the super powerful and special magic starborn princess. Remember, that's what she refers.
Oh yeah, the sub one princess.
Is there like the part that I had highlighted? Like they're having a discussion between like it's like they're at the party and her, Hunt, Fury, and Juniper are talking, and she's like, I like to see her try. I am the super powerful and special magic starborn princess, remember? He knew she was joking, but her mouth thinned. I'll protect you. How could I forget? Oh, magically powerful and super special, whatever you said.
I remember that, yeah.
But yeah, I like Bryce a lot more in this book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
think now that she still has kind of like PTSD when it comes to like what happened with Danica and all that stuff, so that she's still working through, but she's found someone who also has kind of like similar issues and that they're helping each other heal.
And when she brought up what happened to like her little sprite friend, and I was just like, no, don't remind me.
Well, it's like all like the three of them, Rune, Hunt, and Bryce, were like had mentioned about how anytime they think about her, they get like a pain to the heart because they miss her so much.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, don't bring me back to that, please.
I have a lot of questions regarding Danica in general, which I know this book is kind of unveiling some of it, but like I thought this entire time she was Wolf, and now they're saying she's Bloodhound. And now they're saying that they have all these clues that she was doing some, I don't know, not sketchy stuff, but she was doing very secretive stuff. And I'm like, what are you playing at? I have so many questions just regarding that. And I hope it's kind of like they explain it all at the end, because if they don't, I have questions.
Do you have like a least favorite character at the minute?
Pippa. I do not like her.
Her, and I'm not sure how I feel about Cormac.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cormac. Like he's just,
and I don't like the Fey King.
Oh yeah, I've never really liked him either. But it's like there's one particular point that I highlighted at the end of the one chapter where he just shows up and he's like, I'm here to see my bride. And I like literally wrote underneath it saying, oh shit.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those moments. I was just like, I'm sorry, you said what now?
the bit when like her mum member is like, I hear there's a wedding, and then Bryce is like, what, you're renewing your vows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, huh?
And then it's just kind of like seriously, don't play dumb with me.
You cannot get past like anything past her mom. Like, it's like she knows. My question is how did she know very quickly?
No, it's like the talk, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Such the gossiper she is.
How are you liking the plot so far of the book?
I like it.
I'm liking it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
diving into a lot of deeper stuff, like that's being pulled from the first book. Like you say, like with Danica and
There's a
like
lot
with
of different angles that you can see throughout the book because you can tell that, like, Bryce is still trying to figure out Danica and what happened and why they're doing what they're doing. But at the same time, as she goes through it, she's like, do I even know Danica at all? Because apparently she was in all this shit, and now
yeah,
why am I finding all the clues?
yeah, and like we're finding it alongside Bryce as well, and it's like like with the prologue, how it like interlinks into the main story as well. I quite liked that
Yes.
because at first I was like, "What's happening with this prologue?" like
I
what's
was a
this
little
got to do
confused.
with the
Yeah.
story? Yeah.
I know this was your first read, Alicia. Was it your first read, Katie, or is it a
Yeah,
reread?
I know. I didn't read it before. This is the first time. Yeah. So yeah, it's our first discovery.
Yeah.
I have the power.
You know all the. You possibly know all the answers to my questions.
Yes,
But
I'm
she
sat
wants
there like,
stickers.
how do I do
Yeah.
my really best poker face right now?
You're gonna see a lot of books like this.
Yeah. Just gonna be like looking down, looking through my notes, but what'd you think, like, other than the prologue throwing you off, what was your overall thoughts of the prologue?
I wanted to know how it was gonna fit into the story.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting to read because now we're being introduced to more characters, and I was like, but how does this fit in with what we read in Crescent City? Because that's the first thing you see. So now I'm going, okay.
Yeah, and then when I heard like Thunderbird, I was like, oh, Thunderbirds, I'll go.
Well, it's like you get introduced to like her and ended up being Cormac in the prologue because he is the agent that she's paired with. It is mentioned at one point when he's like revealing himself to like him being a rebel when they're all in Bryce's apartment. He's the agent, whatever his face is. So it's like when going back to the prologue, it's like, oh yeah, that's Cormac.
Oh.
I don't know. At least
Yeah,
it's like,
I didn't put
I
it
don't know how to
together.
feel about this.
Yeah, I didn't put it together until this reread. I'm like, you.
It's almost like when you watch a film like more than once, and then you see things you didn't see the first time.
Oh, Silver, yeah, Agent
Agent
Silverbolt had waited. That was my next tab the newer tab that I put.
That's Cormac.
Yes, Agent Silverbow is Cormac.
Oh.
dun, dun, dun. Wow.
Yeah. That's kind of how I see him right now, because otherwise I just go, why are you here?
Apart from just to jump in and broadcast he's marrying people.
But I also wonder, because like he's like, they're having that arranged marriage, but I'm wondering if it's because they're saying it's gonna be a ruse on Bryce's side, but what if it's really a ruse on his side? Because like you said, he was agent whatever the name was. So how do we know?
How are you finding the writing style in this one compared to the first? Do you find it's like easier flowing?
I find it about the same. It's just there's a lot more going on, so like you kind of are getting through it faster because of you're like, oh, let's read the next chapter, see if it's been resolved, kind of thing.
It is very easy to read, in my opinion. I mean, again, I have the audiobook playing, so. But even with that, like earlier, my son distracted me, and the thing was still going, and I was just like, okay, and then I was like, oh, here I'm at. So it's very easy. Like if you do get distracted, you can easily find where you're at.
Damn your son, distracting you.
I forget what he was asking me about. I think he wanted something, or he was bored. Or I don't know.
But I
Now
do
he's
have to
watching
say,
Home Alone.
like, going back to Ember, Bryce's mom, I do love the fact that she was being possessive when they were at the ballet for Juniper. It's like, take a picture, it will last longer, or something like that. To that effect, like she was being really sassy with the people who were staring at Bryce.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it's definitely a overprotective mother type.
mm-hmm.
That's my daughter. Take a picture. It'll last longer. Move along.
And one thing I made a note of in the first chapter is when they were looking at the different like statues that was around in that one. It makes me think it's like, is this an Easter egg for like Throne of Glass, or I would assume more Throne of Glass than Akatar because you don't really hear much about like those types of like the gods and stuff. So it makes me wonder if it's more of a, like an Easter egg for Throne of Glass because it seems like they are being mentioned more in this one than it was the previous one. So it's making me think that's the ties to Throne of Glass.
I don't remember. Did they say the names of the statues or?
One is it's supposed to be like Thur. The says
Oh,
on it a powerful fey male stood poised above an anvil, a hammer raised skyward in one fist, lightning cracking from the skies, filling the hammer and flowing down towards the object of the hammer's intended blow, a sword. Its label read simply "Unknown Sculptor, Palmyra, circa 125 BE."
sounds like Thor.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed. She seems to take a lot of inspiration from different mythologies,
Mm-hmm.
like with the Thunderbird and now this particular god.
Interesting that she does that though, because it's like she has different pieces of mythology, but she's weaved it so well into the story that if you're not like 100% paying attention, you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found with like like the writing also linked with the plot that it kind of like goes like fast paced, and then it will slow down for a little bit, and then it'll go boom fast again, and then it'll slow down. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, it's
I know
like
it was like
action.
Waves of the Sea or something. Like it's just
You
like
have like a little roller coaster, and then you've got
Mm.
the spicy scenes, and they just go up.
Well, it's like then you have like the action scenes and spicy scenes being like the high points, but and then the low points you get more like information, like dumping like history and stuff like that. I've been noticing more.
Yep.
yeah. And then suddenly there'll be something like just thrown at you at the end of a chapter, like that's like dun dun dun, woo, up we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just finding more stuff out like this, like first half of the book that's pulled from the first book, so it kind of has weaved very well into the second book.
If we're getting this much already, what's the second half going to bring?
Well, Sam sat there like, how much do I do?
Sam's like, doo-doo-doo. I know nothing.
Have you got a favorite part so far? A favorite scene?
When Ethan gets the Danica's sword, and he's think he's pretending he's like wielding it around, and he breaks open the coffee table because his big ass is on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my favorite.
That one I definitely laughed at because I was just like, oh my gosh. He's playing around like he's a little boy wielding the sword. And then he breaks the table. But I want to know, because like I remember Bryce said that was Danica's, right? The furniture was there when she was able to move in or whatever, so a lot of it was Danica's. So I was wondering, like, did she not know that was there? Like, there's no like drawer or anything.
Well, the way that it was described, it made it sound like there was a secret compartment inside it. Like, whenever she booked the coffee, there was a coffee table that there's enough space that she could like wedge some of the papers into, and you not know that there's anything in there, kind of thing.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Sam, stop it! You're giving Alicia more questions.
Fine.
Oh, she's gonna go off after this live like, I must read more.
Trust me, the book will.
That's part of our job as being booktubers, right? Is try to influence people to read books. So, kind of part of the job there.
I know.
I just found it. I still find it awkward, like the relationship between Bryce and Ethan, because of the fact that he likes her as more than a friend, and he has like guilt because of liking her, and because of his brother.
As well, isn't it?
Was it his brother that liked her? But
yeah, it's Connor, the one that was killed.
Yeah, Connor was the one that was killed. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
I think it's cute that he stood up for Bryce, though. I was like, oh, that's nice.
And then we get like the actual like different definitions of like the term mate in this type of world, and kind of how it works between the different classes or whatever.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean as much, but to Faye, it's like, that's it. You're done, you're stuck.
And I'm also liking like looking after the little chimera. So I'm like feeding them. Just gotten into the role of just that. Oh, go on then. Have your food. Cute little thing. I can't imagine like a little chimera, because I see them as like huge beast snake thing.
But could you imagine, like, if he was just like a baby version, and then at some point he will be this big, huge thing? He's probably not going to fit in the apartment.
No, but I'm just trying to imagine like a tiny one just bounding around.
He's like the bigger the space, the bigger he is. The smaller the space, then he stays little. I imagine that. Otherwise, he'd be breaking a lot of things.
Have you got a scene that you didn't like yet? As much?
Any conversation they had with the Fae King. Those I don't know how to feel about those, because I know like those are like informational points towards the story, but at the same time, to me, they seem useless.
And it was that scene with the what's her name? Is it like I can't remember now. Is it are they like archangels? I can't remember. Like, what was her name?
Celestina?
Yeah, I think that's I know it began with a C. But like that scene with her there, I was just like, I don't like you.
I'm still trying to figure her out. Because I know, like, she's new to the area, and she's supposed to be, like, the new, I guess, governing person, but I feel like she's got a trick up her sleeve, or she's doing something behind closed doors that we don't know about yet. And I can't figure out if she's really here to be, like, the governing person, or if she's gonna be plotting against Lunathia.
I just don't get good vibe from when I read about her. Like she's sneaky or something.
Mm-hmm. Sam's hiding her mouth.
Yeah,
Don't
she's
lie.
just like she's just like interesting.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
You're like, sure, okay. And the other two, the two that came in, what was it? Pollux and Baxian? Is that their names?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Hammer and no, is that the right? No,
The hammer and the hellhound.
No,
Yeah. And why does Baxian just seem to always show up in like the most weirdest way? Oh, they're gonna go talk to the Underking. Here's Baxian, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
I like how Lucinda just messaged me saying, "How are you keeping a straight face?" Just like lots of pain.
Yeah, even Lisa just like I've just sat off the screen.
So I must be on to something.
Dumb and dumber in my head.
They do seem like Dumb and Dumber, but at the same time, like I still have questions about them.
Well, it's like your guys' thoughts about Celestina is generally kind of like what my thoughts were with my first reread. I was kind of suspicious, but it was between her and a couple other characters. I'm like, are you doing this? Are they doing this? What's going on?
I can see the wheels turning in Alicia's head. Like...
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, like, I know someone is doing something. That's obvious. But I too am trying to figure out, is it one versus the other, or is it like a group effort, or am I just like way off in left field? Because there's like we've already mentioned, there's a lot of things happening simultaneously. I get that. So it's just like, okay, who's doing what, and can we say that maybe the children have already been found, but someone is not saying anything?
How far is it you guys are into, so I can make a note to like not go past this when talking?
I am currently at the beginning of chapter 31, so 345. They all seem evil. I mean, everybody has an evil motive in some way, shape, or form. They could easily have a... Where are you at, Katie?
Roughly about the same, yeah.
Okay. That way, at least I can...
It's just best to keep quiet.
It's just best to keep quiet, yeah.
It's best to keep quiet.
Put my tabs in there. That way I know where to stop with my flipping.
And just...
I mean, by the end of the day, I will get to 400 before I stop, because I do have other books in my TBR that need to be read. So
other than obviously Sam, would you reread it? Because Sam has obviously been reading it.
I would probably reread it.
Yeah, I would, like, if I needed to, like, I don't know, if there was like other books and I was like, oh, I'll reread that one.
I mean, we're gonna have to reread it anyway, right? Because of the well, I guess it's so close to being released, a third book.
Yeah, that's what a few years time, maybe down the line. if there's another spin-off series somewhere, and I'm like, crap, need to reread again.
And this series is going to be 4 books, I'm guessing? Or just the 3?
I
I'm not
I
sure.
honestly can't remember.
4 or 5, I can't remember.
I must Google.
I want to reread it, but so much arcs being an issue. Yes, so many books, so little time.
I did
Would
find
you-
it sweet though, about how Rune invited Ethan to stay at the house, even though fairies and wolves don't get along very well. And just when Bryce is like, "Are you sure you are okay with him being there?" And he just said something about it's like better than an angel. She's just like, depends on what you're doing with that angel. And he's
Yeah,
like, "Gross, Bryce,
Mm.
gross."
Don't
Right.
want to know. It says it's supposed to be. It's a planned trilogy. However, there may be a 4th installment to talk about the magical creatures in the area. So,
Okay.
book 3 is that's it, according to Google.
That's what they always start as. I mean, look at the Shatter Me trilogy that turned into a series, didn't it?
And the Crave series was only supposed to be 3, and it's 6.
Yeah, quite a lot.
What'd you think of Therion, the merman, or whatever?
I'm not sure how I feel about him.
Yeah,
I feel like he's hiding information.
You just don't trust anyone.
I don't. I need answers before I can start
I don't know what
trusting
else
people.
about him yet. He's probably something to do with something.
I don't. Mm-mm.
See, it's just his back and forth with Bryce about like how he calls for legs. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, legs.
wanting to get
My
kicked in the
sweet
face.
legs,
aren't
yeah.
you?
I think he calls her that because he doesn't have any of his own.
Secrets, so many.
Or just like he's doing it just to mess with Hunt because he knows how Hunt feels about her. And like with the random like text messages, he's like, "I'm at your apartment and ready to go through your underwear drawer." She just goes, "You're there early. I'll be there in 10. Don't leave jewel stains on the lace ones, or worse. No promises. Just spare the pink bra, please."
Don't leave jewel stains. Oh my goodness.
Would you buy this for someone else?
Sure. They are gonna go through all of it with me.
Your husband.
If he was a reader, yes. I'm like, here, read this.
Yeah, you've been listening to it, so you might as well read it.
I think
It's
it
so
really
funny.
all
He
depends on the
hates-
person for me.
He hates when I listen to the audiobook because every now and then I'll listen without the headphones. So he says when it's like 2.0 or higher in speed, he's always like, it always sounds like they're just going. I'm just like, no, they actually say words. He's like, no, that's what it sounds like to me. They're just throwing things at you.
I was thinking that earlier today because I was playing it aloud, like whilst waiting for dinner to cook, and it was just like, but I can understand it. But I was thinking to someone else, this must be really weird to just be walking in and just be like, Bryce, Hunt, you know?
Yeah, you only get like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I can listen to it just fine.
It's like to my reading speed.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to, if I'm reading it physically and listening, like I think the 2.10 on the Audible is like my reading speed, which is slower than most people. Some people read really quick, like skim read. So
I would definitely recommend it in the series.
would you read another book by the author from the other series?
Plan to.
Eventually, yeah.
When, I don't know, but I'll get to it.
Oh, another favorite part is the fact that the Prince of the chasm was sitting on Ethan's lap as a cat. I just found that his way of showing himself to Bryce is just showing up as a cat.
Uh-huh. That was almost like a very Cheshire Cat-esque type scene. Just shows up and he's sitting and moving around.
And just how freaked out Ethan was about. It's like, can we talk about go back to talking about how the Prince of the Chasm was sitting in my lap or on my lap
as a cat? Well, it happens.
Would you like another book from this world?
Obviously. I mean, we're going to get one more at least. But if it doesn't answer my questions, I need more.
We'll be pestering Sarah J. Maas.
I'd be like, excuse me, I have questions. Can you answer these for me? In book form, that would be great.
Have you read any books that are similar?
I don't even know where to begin on trying to find books that are similar.
Really say Jennifer L. Armentrout stuff is like similar to Sarah J. Maas. So
I haven't read too much of her.
Just from Blood and Ash, there's like how many creatures there are and like in the prequel series as well. It kind of like reminds me of just like with this being a city full of different creatures, but set in a modern time. It's just what kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Blood and Ash is very similar. Especially with like, like the werewolves and supernatural creatures and stuff.
If we go by that, then we can say anything that has supernatural creatures in it.
Probably the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, then, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Because that has gargoyles, werewolves, vampires.
Yeah, but that's more set in a school setting, so I wouldn't necessarily say it will read similar, other than it being paranormal. Because we like with this Crescent City, you have the political side to it, and with From Blood and Ash, you like farther into the series, you get more politics into it.
True.
Lucinda says, I would kind of say Emma L. Adams' fairy series are kind of similar, but there are several reasons of which are spoilers.
The Sookie Stackhouse has real world and paranormal in it. Because they have fae, vampires, werewolves, werepanthers. I think there's something else too.
I just like how when I'm flipping through my tabs, going like to like the first official spicy scene that's in it, and that's not teasing. It's like she makes a comment saying that Hunt's chest is bigger than hers, and he's like, "That's the least sexy thing anyone has ever said to me." That just reminds me of like some sort of like jokes and stuff that me and Jordan would say to each other. It's like, that's the least sexiest thing you could have ever said to me. And then you just have Ethan in the background saying, "Please have sex a little louder. I didn't hear everything that time." And then when he just says like he's gonna fuck her senseless or something, and he just goes, "That sounds medically dangerous." In the background.
I remember that. I kind of laughed out loud at that one. I was like, what? What? Okay.
It's just like, why can I hear this like perfectly in my head?
Very thin walls.
It's just going back to Jordan, it would just be like his commentary on any smutty scene. She's like, "That sounds medically dangerous."
Yep. It's medically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you wish to talk about or discuss that we haven't chatted about?
Let's see. This how the number 7 is apparently important in the series. So
The
there's
number
a
7.
yeah, no. It's into part 2, chapter 25 is when
Oh yeah, because they said something about like there were 7 Asteri, but now there's 6, but there was 7 something or other of hell.
yeah, 7 Asteri, technically 6 now, and then that 2 ruled Midgard, and then 7 princes of hell to challenge them. 7 and 7 and 7, always the holy number. And I find it interesting about the Star Sword, about how it reacts both to Rune and Price.
That is interesting. Because didn't they say at some point that it was only supposed to go to 1, but is he
so.
he's not starborn, is he? She is. Like she has
They're
the quality,
both
but he has the sword.
They're both from the Starborn line, so they both have the abilities. He has
Okay.
the ability to wield shadows while she's got the light side.
That could be a scary combination, light and dark. And they both
So,
can wield the sword.
in an Easter egg that I have noticed when with Cormac's teleporting, Alicia, you wouldn't know this, but Katie, do you know why the teleporting that Cormac does sounds really familiar?
The teleporting that Cormac does? Well, I remember them saying something about him. It's teleporting, but it's kind of like in shadow.
It just depends on how far ago it was for Akatar for Katie with reading.
It's
I
been
have
a while.
I have a theory, but I don't know if it's feasible.
But it's another Easter egg, but for Akatar this time. It's just called differently in Akatar.
See, now I have to go read Akatar, but
You should.
I was also thinking of one of the prophecies that was given in this series.
I don't remember the prophecy.
The prophecy for Rune was that his bloodline would end with him.
Oh, yeah.
What if he does not marry female? What if he marries male? That's how his bloodline would end. So it doesn't necessarily
I don't
have to be death.
see. I don't see him being a bi guy though. Just based on the one chapter where we enter in him doing a Han, which is a very strange picture in my head that I did not really need.
I don't want to know how that works, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and True Lucinda maybe more in the second book of Akatar. But Lucinda knows what I'm talking about.
Don't tell me. I'll read Akatar in the new year. And Throne of Glass.
If it's further than the second book, then maybe I wouldn't. Yeah, because I've only read the first and the second one. I need to.
It has to do with a certain bat boy. Just by hint. Yeah.
It still doesn't ring a bell.
I'll let you know when I figure it out after I read the series.
Yeah, when I reread it, I'll be like, I know now.
I'm definitely going to need the audiobooks, I think, for that series.
And also the gym scene. All I could think is how unsanitary that was. They better have wiped out equipment down afterwards.
They were at the water bar counter thing.
Still, ew.
So they just have to wipe the counter. But that is a little awkward. I mean, if they're especially like they were saying there's a lot of windows.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it was at like the middle of the night so no one was there but them. But still.
I know he like disconnected the cameras with his special lightning powers.
True.
Oh, and then we learned about Danica's father.
What's his name? Mordor? Mordek?
Mordok.
Yeah.
Mordor.
Then that's how like she got her bloodhound abilities.
I knew it was
The one male to rule the ball.
One father to
Was he in the first one? Or no?
I think he was mentioned like in passing as being like part of like Sandriel's. Well, he's part of the Dreadwolves, isn't he? So he is part of the Hines group that when she served Sandriel.
Okay.
So I think he was just kind of mentioned in passing, and he might have been at the like that big meeting and stuff that they were at, like towards the end of book 2, when Hunt actually killed her.
Lucinda says some people do not care about exhibitionism.
Well, they should.
Alicia's yucking some people's yum over there.
I do not want to see what you do behind closed doors. Okay.
And on that note, I think we should wrap it up.
On that note, closed doors.
Let's wrap that up. So
I'm anxious for you two to finish, as I almost popped the top off my pen. Finish it.
Does that mean it's going to be a popping ending?
Well, you Mortal Kombat, finish it.
It will be finished before the end of the month.
Or at least by next live show. Because that's when we discuss it.
I will try to remember to take notes.
Well, I'm trying to take notes on my phone as I go. Anything that comes up, or a character, so I can remember what the character's name was, or because like already like in what I've read, you know, you got like Bryce, you got Hunt, you got Ember, you got Randall, you got Rune, you got Cormac, you got Fury, Juniper, Declan, Flynn, Mark, Ethan.
Jessica makes an appearance.
Yeah,
she's just the call. That's about it.
No.
Who is hosting January? I can't
I think
remember.
it's me.
It's whoever's after me.
Yeah, I think it's my turn.
It's your turn, biatch. What is the halfway? Like 13?
For January.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, I think so.
Can we all do 13? I don't think I've got anything.
I don't have anything planned. So
Same time, Sam's Place.
Same book.
Yeah, for the rest of the book. And then we can properly rate it. And then we'll see if Alicia has her answers.
I better get my answers.
It just feels like one of those end of like, seriously. Will Alicia have the answers to her question?
I'm gonna start writing all my questions down. Just send them to you. This is my question.
Just have a list of your questions, and then every time they're answered, tick it, and then add a question if there's another new question.
My question for you two is what is going to be our next book after this? Are we going to keep trying to finish up or catch up with series, or are we doing a standalone?
What did we decide? I can't remember.
Did we decide to do the toll or no?
Yeah, I feel like it was the toll, wasn't it?
After that, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's just how far we got, I think.
Yeah.
So I suppose we'll see how this one ends. Because if it ends on a cliffhanger or something where we need to know, then I might have to read it after the toll.
I will be madder than a wet hen. It ends on a cliffhanger. Just like, dang you people.
I never heard of that saying.
Never heard of
Really? Oh my gosh.
I've heard the matter than a wet cat, but not a hen.
How do they get wet? What?
It actually has a meaning. Madder than a wet hen, a thoughtfully complex metaphor describing someone who is raging mad. When the hens are wet, they're mad. In fact, they're livid.
But how do they get wet?
I mean, it could be rain. Someone could have gotten them wet.
Just get some farmers. Here you go.
I just like I love how much it's shady. I mean, I've heard of like the wet cat one, but not a hen. But
yeah.
You've never heard that? Oh my gosh!
I've never ever no.
Well, now you have.
I mean, I've heard of like bull in a china shop, but
yep. Now I'm just gonna start sending you phrases and seeing if you've heard them.
Alicia's phrase of the day: "Madder than a wet hen."
Yep. Oh my god.
But yeah. But to answer the question, I guess we will be continuing and finishing series more better in the new year, I guess.
That would be helpful.
To stay fresh.
Since it's the toll for January, I can use that as my dystopian for the Witathon year-long challenge. Because one of the challenges is to read a dystopian.
Oh well, there you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was going to read The Hunger Games, so I might still reread The Hunger Games because I would like to reread The Hunger Games to read the prequel. But
that's the one I'm at. I have to read the prequel one. I've read the series. I remember what happens. Just gonna read the prequel. Every time my friend mentions it,
I reread Hunger Games, so I would like to. It's one of my favorite dystopians, so I don't mind rereading it. It's just I would like to get to that next month.
So yeah, Lucinda says she'll get on the reread for them and for the new book as well. I'm assuming the Third Crescency. And the whole already read it, so I'm good. Rest of Shattered Meat and Gleanings too.
Come on, computer. Don't die on me now.
But we can't continue Shatter Me because one of these people will not continue the series.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who could possibly not continue that.
Me. I'm the problem. It's me.
It's me.
I won't.
Hi.
Hello. And I am not sorry about it.
can't even remember what the next book. Me and you were gonna buddy read it, Katie, and we never got.
Yeah, we
around
were,
to
and
it.
then we just didn't. Like, too many books were getting in the way, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or life.
pretty much.
Yeah,
Right.
it was the third one I think we were gonna read. Was it that one?
2024, a year to get back on track.
But yes, maybe
Yeah.
we'll read it next year and do a mini
You guys
discussion.
can do a collaboration.
Yeah. Or maybe
Yeah.
we can get Lucinda to come on to the live with us.
Yeah,
Replace Alicia for
Alicia being replaced.
It's fine. Have fun.
It's just like, it's fine. Oh,
I'll join in a different series.
yeah. I don't know. Was there a series that you wouldn't continue, Sam? I can't remember.
Crave. She won't finish Crave.
Or maybe Crave.
It's not that I won't finish it. It's just I haven't gotten around to picking up the second book to see if it's.
No,
going to
I've not
continue.
got around to the second book, and I kind of want to reread the first one.
It just so happens that I'm doing a reread in January.
Yeah, well, there you go. But are you doing a reread live?
I can. I could do a live discussion on it if you guys want to join it.
But it's been like, what, I don't know, 2 years since we discussed it. I can't remember now.
No, because we did it earlier this year.
Did we?
Cherish. We did it leading up to Cherish.
Oh no, you did, but I didn't.
I did. No, yeah, I did.
I was just trying to think. Did I? I don't remember being there.
Did I black out?
I was like, what? I'm pretty sure we did in holidays, like beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you did your readathon, didn't you? Read along, readathon. Both.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't. At this point, I don't remember anymore.
But yes, Ignite to me was where we got up to the third one. I read it and was waiting for you all to continue. Well, I'm sorry, but you have to blame this person.
I mean, y'all could have read it without me. Y'all could have continued on.
I'm still waiting for book 2 to go on the sale price for Crave. I didn't read Crave for RBC, but did join the Crave Long Live for it. Yeah, I just can't remember the second half so well. And if I want to read the sequel, I need to reread the first one to be really fresh. And I don't know why I'm really blank on the second half.
I didn't see that I blocked most of it out.
Of the first book, Crave. It's just, my brain's just chosen to forget it.
I remember what happens. I remember what happens with every book except for the last one, because I have to reread it.
Yeah, sometimes I read a book and then a few months later I'm just like, what?
When I still think for some part of my brain thought I read Legends and Lattes last year, but no, it was the beginning of this year that I read Legends and Lattes, and I think I recorded my top books of the year, and I'm like, oh, I did read this year, not last year.
And Bookshops and Bone Dust is another book we need to read and discuss as well. Because I've not got around to that yet.
Yes. I have it. I haven't read it yet.
No. But I can hold off reading it for other books until it's time. There are just too many releases that are coming out next year that are kind of taking lead.
There's just too many books, period.
Yeah,
So
I just
many
think
books,
so.
not enough time.
No, too many chunky books as well. Like, how many pages is this third one going to be? If this one's like 800.
I think it's gonna be the same. Let me
I
look.
wouldn't be surprised if it was the same.
It is.
Lucinda finally has Legends of the Lattes and is waiting for Bookshops and Bone Dust to arrive. And yes,
It will be 848 pages, so it'll be slightly bigger.
Slightly bigger.
Yep. But that makes sense if it is going to be the last book in the trilogy.
But will those 48 extra pages have the answers to your questions?
They better.
Or you'll be madder than a wet hen.
Yep.
She will riot.
Madder than a wet Harry.
I will definitely riot. Like, excuse me, ma'am. Here are my questions and my demands. Write the book.
These are my demands.
No. We love the authors for creating such powerful universes.
Well, they're a good author if they can create all these questions and that some get answered but not quite fully, because obviously that would be
They're
pointless
leaving
of
it
having
open
another
for
book.
more opportunity to write.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it is like wrapped up well, if it is going to be a trilogy, because I hate it when it leaves it such an open ending. And I'm like, no, I have to have it finished.
You have to tie it up in a nice, neat bow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, don't leave it open where I've got to imagine the ending myself. I don't like that.
That's where I demand answers.
Write the book yourself. Like, here you go. Here's the next book in the series.
Sarah J.
Put it
Maas,
on.
you could just put your name on this. Here's the
Put it on Wattpad. How it should have ended. ...
There you go.
Well, on that note, I think we shall wrap up this live chat. Thank you to people joining. Lucinda. And if anyone's watching this at a different time as well, leave your answers to all the questions we've asked in the comments. So yeah, the next live is January 13. Unlucky for some. Is it going to be lucky for us? Who knows? That depends on Alicia questions and answers. But yes, it'll be on Sam's channel, Yarn Reader. Same time. Just different place. But hopefully we see your face. Right. Goodbye, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year. We will see you in 2024.
Stay safe.
And hopefully...
No
Like, bye.